Hello and welcome to Mastering in the Box. In this week's video we are going to take our learning of the loudness standards in mastering and apply this in practice to our mastering workflow. Hello and welcome, I'm your host Smudge, and this week we will be drawing a conclusion to our mini-series Mastering Loudness Simplified by discussing how we can apply our learn of the loudness standards in music to our mastering workflow and thus create commercially loud songs that compete with the pros. Before we get into this week's content, and as a recap, in video 1 we discussed how we can measure loudness using a loudness meter, and I showed you 2 free loudness meters that are great for this purpose. In video 2 we discussed headroom and how much we should leave for mastering, including what peak levels are, RMS and what this means, what the digital ceiling is, digital clipping, and also some tips on how you can leave enough headroom before mastering. In video 3 we discussed the basics of the loudness standards and how they apply to music in the US and Europe, and how we measure loudness using LUFS, LKFS and LU, and the basic knowledge on what true peaks are and why we need to consider them. If you haven't had a chance to watch any of these videos, then I'd highly recommend taking a look, as they will make the content in this video much easier to understand. And as always, if you found these videos useful, then please subscribe by clicking the red subscribe button below, and don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button and select all to receive notifications on the release of all of our videos moving forward. Okay, so let's get to today's content, and whilst we discussed that there were strict loudness levels for broadcast, television and gaming, we didn't discuss the loudness levels for music release. So what are the regulated loudness levels for music release? This is a great question, and the simple answer is there aren't any. But let me explain. Whilst the setting of strict loudness levels for broadcast, TV and gaming have been largely successful, in the music industry there are no current ways to regulate and enforce a strict loudness level for music distribution, in the main due to the different distribution platforms available, i.e. CD, vinyl or digital release. CD and vinyl have generally had a higher perceived loudness level than streaming, and often in excess of -10 LUFS on an integrated scale. But as technology advances, and with the demand for streaming music ever increasing, the streaming platforms are able to influence loudness levels to benefit the listening experience for users of their platforms. This influence is commonly referred to as loudness normalization. Now, whilst the broadcast, TV and gaming industries regulate loudness at either -23 or -24 LUFS, these levels were deemed too low for music release. The Audio Engineering Society in 2015 released a recommendation for loudness of audio streaming and network file playback, which documents a target average level of between -20 and -16 LUFS, with a true peak level no greater than -1 dB true peak. But this is a recommendation only and not followed by all streaming services. As of this recording, there are still different normalization levels for different platforms, and the most common are as follows. Spotify, -14 LUFS integrated and -1 dB true peak. Spotify Loud, -11 LUFS integrated and -2 dB true peak. YouTube Music, -14 LUFS integrated and -1 dB true peak. Apple Music, -16 LUFS integrated, ±1 LU and 1 dB true peak. Tidal, -14 LUFS integrated and -1 dB true peak. Amazon Music, -14 LUFS integrated and -2 dB true peak. Deezer, -15 LUFS integrated and -1 dB true peak. These level recommendations are all roughly in the same ballpark, but still vary on both the integrated LUFS measure and the true peak. So should you master tracks to different loudness levels to match each streaming platform? That is just not a viable option. If you consider that a distribution company will send your music to at least 18 different streaming platforms, then it's not a feasible solution to do a minimum of 18 copies of each release for the differing platforms. So what is the solution? This is where the streaming platforms come into play, as they will assist with this process. Whilst little is still known about these processes, each streaming platform will regulate the music to ensure that each song conforms to their recommended loudness levels. Spotify, for example, will apply negative gain to tracks mastered hotter than -14 LUFS in order to decrease the volume whilst ensuring no additional distortion occurs. If the song is mastered to less than -14 LUFS, then positive gain is applied to bring the loudness level up to regulated levels, but limiting is also used to prevent clipping. Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, shall we? While this is great in theory, what level or recommendation should I use? I hear this a lot, and so many people have so many opinions about loudness levels, some good and some bad. My approach is summed up perfectly by the words of the super talented mastering engineer P.O.P.O.S, in that she described the role of a mastering engineer as being responsible, and that we should use or apply our judgment of loudness responsibly. This is very much the approach that I take. I will not master music to quieter than -14 LUFS integrated as a general rule of thumb. The reason being is that when I master, I want to be in control of the dynamics and dynamic range when the song is released. If I master to say -16 LUFS integrated, then some streaming services may apply limiting to raise the level. For those of you who know what a limiter is will know that in its simplest form, a limiter is a type of compressor, and I do not want further compression applied if I've got the dynamic range where I want it for the song. On the flip side though, this is where responsibility comes in. I will not master to excess loudness levels. I hear some people say that they master to -6 LUFS integrated for streaming because such and such an artist does. In my opinion, all you are doing is squashing a dynamic range by excessively compressing the music and making the song less interesting, only for the streaming platforms to turn the song down anyway. I tend to find that there is a sweet spot somewhere between -10 LUFS integrated and -14 LUFS integrated, but it all depends on the song, the genre, the mix and many other factors. One of the things I want you to take away from this series is that a loudness level should not be used as a target, because a target level may not be what the song needs. So use your ears, experiment with loudness, but be responsible. Before we finish up, I just want to refer you back to our loudness meter and briefly demonstrate how to use it in practice. Okay, so I just want to show you guys the P.O.P.O. Audio DP Meter 4, which is one of the 2 free loudness meters we featured in the loudness metering video. The song in question that we're going to play is the song Deeper Love by P.O.P.O.S, which is the instrumental version. And what I just want to show you is the loudness measurements that I use when mastering this song. So let's take a listen. Okay, so first and foremost we have the integrated loudness level in LUFS, which is currently showing around -11.4. The other thing I want you to focus on is the true peak max setting, which is -1.2. So as we've discussed, when I master my tracks, there's a sweet spot between -10 LUFS integrated and -14 LUFS integrated. But I also look to keep the true peak max somewhere over -1 dB true peak. So So in summary, in this series we have covered loudness meters and what they do, headroom and why it's important in mastering, peak levels and RMS and how they correspond with headroom, the digital ceiling and what digital clipping refers to, loudness standards, what they are and how we measure perceived loudness with LUFS, LKFS and LU, true peak levels, and loudness normalization and how to responsibly apply loudness. These videos will give you all the basics you need to understand loudness and how we can apply the concepts differently in mastering and how we can achieve optimum loudness levels to match the pros. I hope you find this series useful, but please let me know in the comments below what you would like me to cover next. Is there a particular type of process that you don't understand or would like some further guidance on? If so, then let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to know all the ins and outs of digital mastering, then don't forget to subscribe by clicking the red subscribe button below. I hope you all keep safe and well, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.